Hey guys, how's it going? Well, just waking up here. This is where I parked last night. This is pretty much a perfect place. It's a dead end street, no exit, and really quiet. However, last night when I was parking, that car right there gave me some concern because I couldn't tell if there's somebody in there just, you know, I don't know, doing what. And it was just parked there where it's, I don't know if it, I think it actually is legal to be parked there. I think that sign says that it's okay. But I was like, what the heck? Is that guy just looking at me? I don't know. I was paranoid because I had to get into the back of my van. So, because I have no pass through. Anyway, it's a good spot coming here again. So let's talk about parking. For the last long time, like 6 months, there's one particular place where I would park, and I would basically, it was near my work, and I would stay there 3 nights in a row. And what I would do is, kind of the mindset is, if people are used to seeing you there, they kind of just accept you as part of the neighborhood. But you have to go there on a regular basis. And I know that's kind of a little bit different than what a lot of other people do and say when they say you shouldn't be in one place for more than one night. Um, I don't know. I guess it works for me. You become part of the neighborhood and people expect to see you. So it just seemed like in that spot, it just seemed like the traffic was getting louder and louder. Even though it was a quiet street, there was a busy street not too far away, like a very busy street not too far away. And it just seems like I could hear that noise and sirens and oh my goodness. So I decided to find another spot. And that spot I just showed you in the beginning of this video is my new spot that I'm going to park there 3 nights a week. Um, the other, a lot of the other time I park in my ex-wife's visitors parking. And I'm very careful to try to be stealthy in that situation because I really need that spot. Because I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take my kids to school 3 days a week. So on those nights, I really love being able to just barely wake up and drag myself out of my van and into her place, and basically I'm literally like, I don't know, 10 meters away from her front, the front entrance of the building. Well, not the front entrance, but an entrance to the building. So that's great. So I definitely don't want to blow that spot. So that's what I generally do for parking. Is I have 2 or 3 spots. There's a couple other spots I go to as well. Um, so my philosophy of parking is don't be a burden. The way to get into hot water with your neighbors is by being a burden. And what I mean by that is uh, being loud, leaving garbage, um, and not being respectful of the neighborhood. And also, even more subtly than that, I don't like to, I will never park in a residential house, in front of a residential house in a regular neighborhood. I just don't do that. Um, I only park in front of multi person dwellings like an apartment complex. Um, because nobody knows what's going on, nobody knows whose car that is. You just kind of blend in, and in the morning you're gone. So yeah, I really my primary places I park is in two real places I park in front of apartment buildings and light industrial. Uh, especially on a Saturday night, because on a Saturday night in light industrial, there's nobody around. Sunday morning, nobody's at work, at least in the areas that I park, and it's really quiet. So that's great. So ideally, the best place to park is for me. Ideally, the best place to park is in front of a complex, apartment complex, on a dead end street, because there's not going to be any through traffic. That's basically what I had this morning, and that was perfect. It's really quiet, and I've kind of been spoiled by my ex-wife's visitors parking, because it's generally very quiet there. There's no cars driving by. However, the detraction from the visitors parking is that often, especially when the weather's nice, some people will pull up in their car and have their radio blaring, or at least on, and we'll have a conversation for a long time with someone else just hanging out in the parking lot. And I don't know, I guess they don't have anywhere else to go or something, but it's annoying. There's no doubt about it. And I usually have to put some music on, or my earplugs or whatever, to drown them out. So the great thing about the rain in Vancouver is that when it's raining, people tend to not hang out in parking lots, because they're going to get soaked. So that's one of the kind of like the silver lining to the cloud of rain. I'm going to work some kind of visual metaphor in there somehow. Rain, cloud, silver. So one thing I try to always do is park in an area where there is some activity, some human activity. I never park in an area that's too dark, because if it's too dark, that's kind of like an invitation to have your van broken into. And one of the worst things that can happen when you're living in a van is you're sleeping in your van and somebody's breaking into it. So for me, one of the key ways to avoid that is by simply parking in areas that are well lit. So yeah, parking. I only park in front of apartment buildings or light industrial, never in front of residential areas. I always try to be quiet and not a nuisance or a burden to my neighbors. I always arrive late-ish and leave early. I'm never there before 8 o'clock in the evening, and I'm usually leaving by 8 o'clock in the morning. And that seems to be working for me. So I've been living in my van since July 2015, and in that entire time I've never had one single knock or any problems whatsoever with being asked to move along. And I attribute that to being very careful of where I park. I only park, like I said, in front of apartment complexes and in light industrial areas. So I hope that you get something out of this. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.